Antigravity 1.0 is a extension, whereas Antigravity 2.0 is a platform for agent orchestration. Whereas before it was a new window. Now it doesn't even have an idle part of its instance. It's a separate thing. It's a separate product. You have to download a separate anti-gravity idle. Whereas Antigravity 2.0, it's just the orchestration part. It does everything on its own. You don't see it. It can provide you demos and screenshots and videos, but you're not actually in the code base if you don't want to be, which is completely different than how things would work typically to get the most out of these tools. There is terminal-based coding, which has been around for, I don't know, a couple of years now. There is Claude Code, there's Codex, and then there was Gemini command line until it was retired. And now it's anti-gravity command line. The main difference between anti-gravity command line and anti-gravity, I think, is the speed and architecture of the tool. So anti-gravity command line is built in Golang. Golang is world-class at information orchestration. So sending a package of data from one place to another place and receiving it back and sending it however the pipeline is, it's the best. This whole reason Google built it was to be able to send data from one place to another place. And that's all it's really good at. I mean, it's good at other things, but that's the main thing. It's world-class at data orchestration and sending things back and forth and receiving information. It's by far the best. And that's what anti-gravity command line is built in, which is great. And then there's some other stuff that's really cool about anti-gravity command line is it has a full-on toolkit built into it. I mean, Gemini command line had some of this stuff, but it wasn't as straightforward as anti-gravity. I know people like Gemini command line, but people just don't like change. And there are some features that aren't within anti-gravity command line that are built out in the 1.0 release. But in a general sense, the process is faster, it's better, the UI is better, the functionality is more smooth, it's more straightforward, it's more user-friendly. Overall, it's a better product. So I think it's a win-win for everybody. So those are the two tools. So why don't I just share my screen and show you what Antigravity 2.0 looks like. And then we could talk about something that I decided to build and walk through some of the features, because the features set is kind of similar within the anti-gravity platform, I call it, and then anti-gravity command line. So share my screen. Let's see here. All right. So you should be able to see this. Okay. So within here, you have all your projects, and your projects are structured wherever you want them to be, but typically people put them in their home directory, which is depending on where your system lives. Like if you're in Linux, Mac, or Windows, it's in your user. So it's in like your root of your user, which is referred to as your home directory. And so it would be whatever your username is, a folder, it's lowercase, dev, and then you put your project in there. The historical context of that is back in the day, the way that you ran code was that you'd have the source and then the file, and then it was like this user slash source within your computer, because not everyone had home computers, so this really wasn't a thing until Linux came out. And then Linux had users, and then within there you would sandbox your system, and so you needed to switch to this user split out because everything was sandboxed. So that's why it moved to the home directory. It's very interesting. And then the dev folder thing is just like a natural progression of development. And so it went from source, it went to dev, and that's kind of where it lives. And then all of your coding stuff and your agentic stuff lives in your home directory. And that's just how it is, because It's easier to sandbox and provide a ease of permissions within that folder, and so it's just much easier.